How you doing, folks? Just going to do a quick video on your van here, show you how everything works, where everything is. You just come in the habitation door here. Now when you come in the door, just over the fridge, we have our main control panel. Now just on the bottom left of it here, we've our main on off switch. So we just touch that, turns on and off all the power. Your outside light and your main entrance light will work independent of that. The switch doesn't have to be on for them. Now on the left or on the right hand side here, sorry, we have our gauges. So down the very bottom here we have our wastewater gauge. We push that, we can see the wastewater is empty. Middle one here is your fresh water gauge, so we can see that one's full. And up the top here we have our battery level. That's a habitation battery, your second battery. So you can see it's about 12.3 volts. Now on the top left of it, then we have our power light. If you're plugged into the mains at 230 power, say a campsite or at the house, that'll light up just to tell you that you've power coming into the van. So that's your control panel. It's handy enough. Now on the right hand side of it we have our heating control. Now if we just push this center button here, it'll power it up. So we can see here the first thing that's flashing is this wee picture of the van with the thermometer in it. So this is our heating the van, our blown air heating. So if I just push the wee center button again just to switch it on, and we can see it's off at the minute. So we just turn the dial and just bring it up to whatever temperature you want, say 20 degrees, and just push the little button to set. So that's the heating set at 20 degrees. Now if we turn across again, we've our wee thermometer flashing in the water. So this is into water heating. So we push the button to select this, and we've 3 power settings on this. We've an economy setting, which is for normal use. We've a hot setting, which is for showers, more for showers. And we've a boost. What boost does, it turns off the heating in the van if it's turned on, and it just heats the water for 15 minutes, and then it'll come back to heating the van and heating the water at the same time. So we just come back into this page here. So if I go back into that, say I want to heat the water, just turn that on to economy, push the button, and that's water heating turned on. Now the next one we turn across, we have our gas bottle and our wee electric symbols flashing. So we push the button again to select that menu, and we're using gas heating here at the minute. And if I just turn across through them for a second, we're into electric heating now, so we can use a low power electric, or we turn over electric 2 here is a high power electric. So if we're plugged in on a campsite or plugged into mains power someplace, you can use electric heating. You have an option of electric heating if you want it. Now back to these mixes, back to gas. First one over is a mix 1 is gas and a low power electric, and mix 2 is gas and a high power electric. And we can see here in the top bar what's been selected. As I turn this now, we've 1 lightning strike, so we're on electric 1. Mix 1 is gas and low power electric, high power electric, and back to gas. So when you get whichever one you want, if you want to use electric or use gas, and just push the button to select it, tell it that's what you want. So we can see now in the top here, we're using gas. Our water heating's turned on to 40 degrees, the low powered economy setting, and the heating is turned on. They're flashing because they're warming up still. To turn it off, with 2 options. We can push in this center button, hold it in for 3 or 4 seconds, and the whole unit will power off. And to turn it on again, just push in that button for a couple of seconds. It'll power on, and it'll come on to the same temperature settings it was at the last time. So this is still at 20 degrees. This is on the economy, and this is on the gas setting. Or we can go through each one individually. select this and just turn the dial right down to the off and just select, push the button to select off, come across to the water heating, push that, switch it on, and come down to the off and switch it off. So that's your heating inside the van. Now there's a frost valve on the heater. It's underneath the bed on the passenger side of the van here. That's the heater just inside there, and this wee valve here is the frost protection valve. What will happen during the winter, about 4 or 5 degrees, this wee knob will turn around and that little button will jump out there, and we can hear there that's draining the heater at the minute. To reset it, turn that around and push in that little blue button, and that's it, reset. Now the water will come up through the van. If it's too cold, it'll not stay, the button will not stay in, the button will keep coming out. What you can do there is just run the heater for a few minutes till it warms up. Once it warms up, it'll stay in position and you can get your water back up through the van again. So that's all underneath the bed on the passenger side. Just in there we can see that's the extension for the table. Now your fridge, do your fridge next. Your fridge here, we've a main on off switch on the left hand side as you're looking at. It's that square button, just push that in for a couple of seconds and it's all a touch screen panel on the fridge here. So if we push this little square here, it'll change power source for us. Just flick through them there quickly. So the first one here we have is mains power. So we're plugged in to mains power someplace. The fridge will run just on mains, and just touch this again, it comes across to 12 volt. Now that only works when your engine's running, when you're driving say, and just push it again, it comes across to gas. It'll automatically light once you select the gas. That's sitting still at the minute. The reason it was flashing is because we weren't plugged in or the engine wasn't running, so it's just flashing to tell you there's something wrong. The display will turn off after a few seconds every time just to save power. We just touch this on off button briefly, it'll switch on the display again for you. Now if I touch this again, it brings up an automatic energy selection. So when I have it now, it automatically selected the gas because we've no other power source at the minute. If we plug in the van, it'll change over itself, it'll come over and it'll use the main selection. Or if we start the van, it'll come over and use the 12 volt selection. It'll automatically select for you your power source. So if you have the little A up as the handiest of the whole lot. Now we come across to the next one, is our temperature control. And every time we touch this little square, it'll just bring up another bar up to the 5 bars. 5 bars. That's it on full cold at the minute. And the next little button is for there's a wee heater element in the freezer door frame. Just in the frame of the freezer door. Stops them freezing cold. So that's off at the minute. If we touch, it's automatically on, it normally comes on. And if we locks in the doors, just pull them to open and close your doors. Turn off your fridge, just hold in this wee button here for a couple of seconds and that's your fridge powered off. Now TV and satellite. TV, just wee remote control, we'll leave it up in the little shelf in there. And just turn this on here. Wee red button on the top of the remote. There's a little switch under the TV, a main switch under the TV there, just on the kind of the right hand side. And just push the wee button here to switch it on. Now you have a satellite system in this van. So there's your satellite controls, they're just over the control panel here. So if we push this little button here on the left hand side, just push it once to switch it on, push it again for the satellite to go up. And on the right hand side here we have a list of all the different satellites, Astra 2, Astra 28 is the satellite we use here. This one here that's flashing. It's the one for the English kind of speaking stations, the BBCs and all that stuff. So the satellite will take a minute or so to do its thing. We leave it at there for a minute. Now just in your bathroom here. Your toilet. You've a wee swivel toilet. It'll turn around out of the way for you. When you're, say, for the shower, or it'll turn back then for easier to use. You've a little blue button on the back of it here for the flush. We just push that. Works the flush, and you've a wee lever on the front of it here. Opens and closes that cassette door inside it there. Your shower, if we push in this here, this whole wall will move around. You can bring that around, and you've your shower in behind this, your shower area. And that just pushes back, just clips into place in there. Your light switch for the toilet is just on the side of the sink here. Now your TV's tuned in there at the minute. So it's just getting itself together. We'll come back to that. It's just now your bed down here. We can extend this bed. We pull all this out, and that extra cushion there will fill in that space if you want the big double bed, and there's a wee ladder there for getting up into it. And this bed in the centre here, if we push across this little lever here, and that'll release the locks in these beds. I need 2 hands for this side. So back to this now. We push across that lever there and just give that a pull down. Just takes a bit of a pull down, and your ladder will hook onto that handle there. My ladder's sitting up in the back bed here. That's it. That'll just push up into place and just make sure it clicks up into place. Now underneath your seat here at the back, we have our water tank. The only thing I want to show you here is this little black steering wheel. When you look in, that's for emptying the tank. So if we loosen that roughly 3/4 of a turn, it'll empty the tank apart from 20 litres. If you want to lighten for travel or anything like that. If you open it roughly 2 turns, it'll empty the tank totally. All the water will come out of it if you want to empty it. And you've the big blue lid over there for if you want to get into the tank or anything, into your pump or anything like that. So that's your fresh water tank underneath that seat. Now there's your TV working now. Let me get this up here. There's your TV working. I just have the volume down. Your whole list, if we push this OK button in the centre here, it'll bring you up the whole list of stations you have with the wee exit button and just below it. So you can scan up and down through your stations, whatever you want to watch. You can see in the top here the green. If I push the left and right buttons, it'll bring us through the different satellites. So Astra 28 is the one you'll want. And we'll just turn off that TV now. Now, to close your satellite, if we push this bottom button again, first time it just wakes up the wee controls, and just push it again, and that'll close down the satellite if you want it down at night. If you turn on the ignition, the satellite will automatically close as well. Leave that little remote control in there. Now just in the cutlery drawer here, we have our key for the waste tank. I'll show you where the waste tank is outside. And that's the wee key for it. So we'll do a wee run around the outside now and show you everything outside. Now just outside the van here, just behind the habitation door we have our toilet cassette. To take it out, the little blue lever underneath, just lift that up and the whole cassette will slide out. Just lift it out of the ground here. Now, if we turn out this neck, we can screw off this cap off the top of it. That's a wee measuring cup for your chemical, measuring your chemical into it if you're using the liquid chemical. And it'll pour, that's your emptying as well, just pour it out whatever suitable location. Just on the back of it here, if you wee thumb button there, that's to let air in as you're emptying it. So if you hold that down as you're emptying it, it'll just let everything flow out a bit easier. Put that back in, just lift it up and just slide it into place. It'll click into place, just close it, that wee lid. Now behind that is our barbecue point. The barbecue fitting for it is in the little blue bag with all the instructions and that. So it just pushes in there and just turns 90 degrees to switch on and off the gas. Now behind that we have our mains plug-in, just your plug-in point for your mains lead. Now we have our gas box next. So we can see here our ordinary propane bottle, and we've a wee screw on the top of the bottle. Just turn that up to switch it on, just turn it down clockwise to switch it off. So we just go right down clockwise to turn off the gas. And there's a spanner there for changing the bottle. All these fittings here are all left hand thread, or an opposite thread to normal. There's space there for a second bottle if you ever require it. Now in your garage here, a couple of bits and pieces, your carpets. These are all your top clamps for your bike rack and your awning handle for winding out your awning. Spare wheel kit and jack and wheel brace are in this black box here. Your awning handle just goes in here at the back of the awning, and just we'd wind out the awning until you can reach it fairly comfortably. And to lower the legs, we just grab this chrome piece here at the end and just lift it out, and the leg will unhook in the center and just come down. Now just lower your leg down, use the leg to take the weight of the awning, and we lift up this wee plastic thing here, and that'll lock your leg at the height you want it. Now we'd normally put the leg out at an angle and wind the awning out using the leg to support it, and when you have it out the full way, then you can straighten up your legs into position. So that's your awning. Just wind in, then wind it in until it's closed in once your legs are in. Your bike rack, if we just grab this top bar in the bike rack here, just give it a good pull, it'll come down. You've these wee clamps here for your wheels, and those rails that's in the boot will go onto that bar there in the centre of it. And to close it up, these will clamp into the top bar here. So just put them up and just give it a push into place, clicks into place. Now just on the passenger side now, we've just into your boot space again. As we come forward, we've our exhaust for the heater. It's just the back of your oven. Your water fill point here, your fella has it locked. Just when you open that, put your hose in and just fill it up. Now down underneath here on the passenger side, you can see that wee pipe and that little bar there. The wee key in the cutlery drawer inside will go onto that little bar, and you can open and close it 90 degrees, just a quarter turn, and open and close the waste valve. Your wastewater, your sinks and shower will come out that wee grey pipe. Now just up behind the passenger door, your diesel tank and AdBlue tank are in that little flap there. If we open the door here, your bonnet pull is just on the side of the dash inside the passenger door. And underneath the passenger seat, if we just lift that off there, unclip that, you've all your fuses just underneath the passenger seat there in that wee EVL box. They're all your fuses for everything in the back, the water pump, TV, heating, fridge, everything else. Your trip switches, your mains power trip switches are underneath the bed on the driver's side, just in that wee kind of wardrobe. The battery itself is underneath the driver's seat, if ever you need it. And your starting battery, engine battery is underneath that panel there on the floor. Now just around the front here under the bonnet. Just we've a dipstick, a red dipstick just down the front here. And just behind this is your oil filler if ever you need it. Now just right in the corner here, in front of the driver, is your screen wash. This little blue cap here for your windscreen wash. And come around then with our coolant and brake fluid. And just down here on the passenger side behind the headlight, we've our jump starting point. Is be underneath this little cover here. So we lift that up. That's your positive point for jump starting the van. I'll leave that closed up. And in the centre here is our earth point for your black lead. That little knob there. We're back around to the driver's side here. So I think that's everything, and I hope you enjoy it.